Welcome to the Overland Sea podcast. Today we are talking about the Chelsea versus Newcastle game. It's the post-game analysis. Andrew, talk to me about the game and your thoughts on the result.
Uh glad that we finally got the goal. Not because I wanted us to be in the competition, but I just think to a degree it wasn't a game that we should have lost. Right in 90 minutes, they had two shots on target. One of them went in, and we gifted it to them.
It was an early Christmas
Not
present, put it that way. I
It
mean, it
was
was.
not one mistake, but two. And I just for mentality's sake, I didn't want us to not score a goal and go out of it 1-0, having had 70 odd something percent possession, all of the ball, more shots, more everything. Admittedly, we didn't look that dangerous, but had a couple of decent chances. So I think we kind of deserved a little bit of luck at the end to get the goal.
I don't think we've had a lot of luck with games, to be fair. Like with other teams making mistakes and us being able to capitalize. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like we've done it a fair few times, but I get what you mean about the mentality. I actually thought that we played the best football when we had Broya and Jackson on, and I think a lot of that was to do with I call it the front four players sort of interchanging and moving around a lot. I think it confused Newcastle a lot, and I've always said that I liked it when we used to do that in the past with certain wingers and even the centre attacking midfield swapping around a bit when we had like the likes of Robin, Duff, and Joe Cole. So that was really like good for me to see. Um, and I agree. I don't think we deserve to lose that game.
And it depends on quality.
Yeah, I mean, all the pens were great, and Petrovic got a great save. I felt sorry for Trippier for making the mistakes. I quite like Trippier, and then obviously he had an awful penalty. Uh, but actually, while we're on that, what did you think of Petrovic? I mean, he didn't really have an awful lot to do in the game.
I don't remember. Apparently, made one good save during the game because they had two shots on target, and I don't really remember that. But yeah, he had nothing to do during the game. It's a different one to judge him on. Obviously, made a great save during the pens, got close to another one, and has quite a good history apparently in the M&S of saving pens.
Hmm.
So that's something that is helpful. He's a relatively big goalkeeper, so in theory, he should be able to get across the other side of the goal and save that more difficult shots than Kepa, who was very good at saving penalties. To be fair to him, so it's a difficult one to judge him on. Really, there was nothing he could do for the goal because
No,
it was
no.
just yeah. So you can't
Yeah,
really
it's a
blame
bit
him
up
for
to that.
that. Otherwise, a pretty good performance.
What did you think were the sort of the key areas of the actual game? Where do you think it worked well for us, and where do you think it didn't work well for us?
Not having VAR was a big one for me this game. I think Caicedo can count himself a little bit lucky.
Yeah,
VAR wasn't there. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that if that gets VAR, he's not going off from sort of where he caught him and just sort of the challenge that he made. Like he was never getting anywhere near the ball. That it was unnecessary and silly, and it was the type of tackle that I've demonised other teams for doing against us.
it's fucking stupid, is what it was. I couldn't believe it when I saw it again on the replay.
Like at first, though, I didn't even. I didn't think he touched. It was one of those where, like, first whip way through at full speed, you're like, has he even touched him? Like, what the fuck's happened there? And then you
I
just
just
see it,
thought
and
he
you're
came
like,
in the side with his leg, like his side of his leg has gone through his side of the leg, and he's made a meal out of it. When you watch the replay from that certain angle, where they're running towards you, you're like, oh my god,
yeah.
what have
So
you done?
he's a lucky boy, and we got away with one there.
And fair play to him for actually being able to stay on the pitch the entire time because that was 90 seconds into the game, that yellow card. So
Yeah,
I thought he did really well to stay on the pitch and not even get close to having another yellow card and potentially being subbed. Because I think if he had to come off, God knows who he would have brought on.
yeah, true. I think we dominated the midfield, and I think that's what we had to do in that game. And I was worried that we wouldn't be able to after the last time we played them. But Caicedo and Gallagher end up being after Enzo went off. Not sure if he was injured or just tactically it wasn't what Poch wanted and we're 1-0 down.
No, he's
We'll
injured.
throw it, sure.
He's injured.
Fine. But I think we dominated the midfield even with just two of them in there for long periods. Which is what we needed to do, and it almost just didn't really give Newcastle a kick. Especially in the second half, they didn't even really have a threat on the counter, and I think we played very well. But again, it was a game where we had far too much possession while they were sort of camped in their box, sort of just camped in their half, and we
Yeah.
had it sort of just inside their half, and we had three centre backs and two midfielders, or at least one of the midfielders, on the other side of their furthest attacker, and it ended up being like a 5 or 6 against 10,
Mm.
which we're always going to struggle with, and that's why we struggle to create chances and why we struggle to get a goal, was because we're basically trying to play 5-on-10, which isn't going to work. You're kind of relying on someone to beat two or three men and do a very good pass, which is sort of Messi level ability, and we haven't seen that really from anyone yet. So it's
Yeah, I mean they were double manning, double marking, I should say. Certain players out wide, which made it very difficult for us. So they were obviously trying to push us back and having to pass backwards. But I do think that I don't think it's because Enzo didn't play. I just think in terms of what we were able to do with the players that on the pitch when Enzo came off and how that they could interchange. I think it it opened the game up quite a bit, and I think it actually then closed a little bit, and we struggled when we had to make changes where Jackson and Sterling came off. I don't think we still had that same emphasis in how we were playing.
yeah, that's a fair point. I wasn't expecting much from Nkunku when he came on.
Well, again,
Purely he hasn't played. He hasn't got
well,
minutes.
exactly. He
They
hasn't
look
been played
fine.
since the summer. Tough situation to come on in the sense that we need something from him. We've said before it's hard to come into a game. What did he have? 20 minutes?
Something like that.
21 minutes, something like that. 21 minutes to hopefully help us get a goal in some way, or two, or to take it to penalties. So, it's a hard game to judge him on at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, he didn't do anything wrong. He moved. I don't think he gave the ball away. He scored a penalty as well. So, I
Good pen
mean,
as well.
it was a great. To be fair, I don't think any of our penalties were bad penalties. If I'm honest. Um,
It's always a good pen if it goes in, I think.
well, yeah, but you can get some close calls and stuff, and none of them
Yeah.
were close really. I mean, maybe Cole Palmer's, but even then, you put your money on him to score, and all the others I think were top. Was it Connor and no? They all were top left. Our left, keeper's top right, other than Cole's, I think. So, I'll take it. We're
There's only
through.
three of them.
So yeah,
All
we scored four. Yeah, yeah.
round good. Big fan.
Well, I thought it was a good performance. We always knew that we were going to have certain struggles in certain areas of the pitch. We played better against them than we did last time, which we knew we had to do. I thought Conor Gallagher deserved man of the match. The only thing that I'm gonna say, I thought all the subs were brilliant when they came on. I thought Gusto made a massive difference. Excuse me, like coming on at left back. The only thing I would say was I don't think Colwell deserved to come off. I thought he looked pretty good actually at left back in that game, and he defended well. He pushed on. I actually think Badashil should have come off, push Colwell on to left centre back, and then put Gusto at left back if that's where they wanted him to come on, unless they saw something. But Dizazi had a lot of space out
Was
wide right.
was Colwell booked?
No, I don't think he was.
Yeah, okay. I thought he was.
That's the only thing I can think of. I don't think he was. I've watched the game again and I didn't see it. So I just thought that for me was the weirdest one. But do you know what? I've always wondered if Gusto could play out on the left. When him and James were both fit. So maybe that's something that they can look into moving forward when James comes back as well, if we still have issues at left back. Um, but no, overall, I thought it was a really good performance. Couple of mistakes, get the ball away a few times with passing, but that's going to happen in a game of football. Offsides were horrific in the first half, but got better in the second.
Mm.
Which again we've said needs to be sorted out. This time it was more Broyo than Jackson. But again,
I think it was just slow to make the pass though, rather than bad runs.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've said it before. I don't think he had a bad game. I think he had quite a positive game. But Sterling's passing in the final third and his timing and also his decision making is not as good as it should be. So, but I thought it was still very positive the way that we played. Um, and I'm really happy that we've got through to the next round, and also against Middlesbrough. So happy days.
So I'm guessing you're going with Connor for your man of the match.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He got man of the match, and I think it was well deserved. There are definitely a couple of other people that can be spoken about, but for me, he was absolutely everywhere. I thought he had a really positive performance. He was unlucky with his shot in the first half. I think it was the first half where it hit the crossbar.
Oh yeah, first off, yeah.
You know, um, I just think as captain as well. I think he just took the game by the scruff of the neck and really worked his socks off and didn't do anything wrong. Oh, yeah, right, he got a booking at one point, but I'd say it had to happen. So yeah, I will go with Connor. I don't think anybody else. Well, maybe Palmer. For me, they were the two best players on the pitch, Gallagher and Palmer.
It was a good tactical yellow actually. No, he's meant to
Exactly. He's learned from the last time I got a stupid yellow. Then I didn't do a tactical yellow, and now I've done a tactical yellow. So I just how I feel about it, and the fact that we're still talking about whether he's going to stay or go in January. Spurs are eyeing him up, which just makes me feel sick. But I thought I thought he had a really good performance, and he led the team. Excuse me, and he led the team well. So I will go with Connor.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to add? I mean, once again, we haven't spoken that much about the game. Half of it's been
Well, yeah,
players.
there wasn't a lot to speak about really. It was a good performance,
Yeah,
and typically couldn't score the goals that we needed to score to make the game a win. My brain is silent.
but again, I don't think but I don't think we were awful in the final third this time around. I thought we were better in the final third. Obviously, that it compared to other games, it could still be improved massively. But there were times where we had everybody in their half, bar our goalkeeper, because they were defending that deep.
Yeah.
They
Like
could.
Virgil van Dijk said at the weekend, only one team wanted to win that game.
Well, I disagree. I just think that they got the. I think that they got the goal relatively early on, and I think that they were confident that they would be able to hold us out. We wouldn't have enough quality to break them down at the end. And technically, if you argue about it, they were right. We maybe sometimes we could have done better. Other chances weren't really there, and it came down to thankfully one of our players actually being alert to the ball and capitalizing on a mistake. Because I guarantee you now, I think if there were other players there, they wouldn't have been as lively as Mudryk.
Well, Harry Redknapp said he was in the wrong position.
Who
He
was?
only scored it. Huh?
Mudryk was.
Yeah.
How?
He should have been battling Trippier for the ball. He shouldn't have been 3 yards off him to be able to sprint onto that ball. He should have been battling Trippier for that ball at the back post.
There is that, but I think it was the last game. I think it was Sheffield. He went up for 4 headers in a row and completely missed the ball every time. Was nowhere near it, and I think he did draw a foul actually on the last one because he took a tumble, but I don't think he can head the ball. So Do you know what? If he was in the wrong position, he was in the wrong position. And if he's going to say, I let that ball go because I knew I couldn't win the ball in the air, fair enough. But at least he was alert enough to realize the ball could have been and did come loose. Because I'm telling you now, there are other players in that team that are if they were there, they would have done nothing.
Jackson, perchance.
Jackson is one of them.
He's the
Sterling for
most
me would have
healing
been one of
person.
them.
Yeah.
Sterling would definitely have been one of them for me. I just don't. He doesn't have that presence, and also he's not that lively to loose balls. I think he's got better, but he's so used to a City and ball to feet
Mm.
that he won't. He doesn't unless it's a breakaway.
Yeah.
He won't expect the ball to be in front of him. If we're attacking and there's a defensive line, and he could make a run for the ball, and get in behind. He doesn't do that enough, So he did it a couple of times in that game where he expects the ball to feet, and I think a lot of that is due to how City have played and still play. So he's not anticipating a loose ball, so he won't always be aware for that it could go.
All right, you don't like Sterling. I get it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Jesus. Give the guy a break.
Um, but yeah, anything else?
Nothing from me.
Fair enough. Your light keeps going. What's your light doing?
Just fucking don't. Just don't. I don't get it. It's just the light bulb just does that.
Fair,
I, I don't know.
fair. Right,
There you go. We're back.
there we go.
I'm haloed again.
I didn't know whether they're like it was syncing with like you having ideas or something to say, or I don't know. I just thought I'd double check, but
No, it has a mind of its own. Sometimes that corner of the room's darkness. Sometimes it's not. So hopefully soon it's not with my problem. So
very good point. Very good point. Right. On that note, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the Wolves pre-game analysis for Christmas Eve. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment, follow, and the notification button. Thank you for watching.